This is Larry Henares making your day with the second and last part of an article on Time magazine entitled China Pulling Ahead. Number 4 of why China is pulling ahead. China keeps the population in line by leveraging advances in technology. But China ensures political unity beyond just shielding its citizens' jobs from disruptive technologies. It uses those same disruptive technologies to better control its citizenry in ways Western governments can never do. Beijing owns and dominates all the technical companies that will rule the future. The result? In the West, companies use algorithms to expand profitability, making people better consumers. In China, companies use algorithms to make people better behaved citizens. And Beijing is doubling down. China is preparing to launch a social credit system which marshals a person's financial data, social connections, consumption habits, and legal compliance to assess a person's trustworthiness. That trustworthiness could then determine something as innocuous as who can reserve a hotel room without deposit, to something as serious as deciding the quality of schooling a person's child will receive. For Westerners, that has shades of Big Brother. For Chinese, it is a system to establish trust among citizens and to deter criminal activity. Either way, it is an effective way of keeping disruptive social discontent at a minimum, or at least in check. And number 5, and last reason why China is pulling ahead. Others are following its footsteps. The Chinese system can be brutal, inefficient, and repressive at times, among other valid criticism. But as the world continues to fragment, the Chinese governing model will continue to gain appeal for other governments, if not for their citizens. International demand remains for a successful governing model for developing markets across Asia and Africa, at a time when the United States and European variants are looking increasingly dysfunctional. Does all of this mean that China will win in the long run? Hardly. The world is fragmenting, and the days of single colossus striding the world, imposing its will on others, is finished. And long-term challenges for Beijing remain. China's credit bubble may be looming on the horizon, and China has the bad luck to be situated in one of the most politically precarious neighborhoods. But it's time we abandon the presumption that the Chinese state capitalist model is bound to fall apart soon. Increasingly, the burden of proof is on the staying power of liberal democracy. More about this after these messages. This is Larry Henares making your day with the last part, the part 2 of an article in Time magazine entitled China Pulling Ahead. This is Larry Henares making his comments on his article printed in the November 13th issue of Time magazine. Economist Bernardo Villegas of the Opus Dei, CRC, who is a board member of McDonald's Hamburgers, whose services have been associated with the American Center for Intelligence Agency, CIA, and whose Opus Dei is also the economic guru of the dictators Augusto Pinochet of Argentina, Francisco Franco of Spain, and Ferdinand Marcos' First Lady Imelda and his brother-in-law, Cocoy Romualdez. This man has been so inconsistently wrong about his prognostications that we We economists validate our own judgment by citing his consistent errors. Bernie Villas has said that China is moving towards the U.S. capitalist system, but it will ultimately fail as all communist systems will fail. That is not true. The communist economic system has allowed both Soviet Union and China to industrialize, has given welfare benefits from cradle to the grave, and achieved for them the status of a nuclear power, which no other nation has achieved among developing nations. American capitalism survived because it adopted the social concepts of minimum wage and Medicare. Soviet communism failed because its bureaucracy could not adjust to private initiative and market forces. But Chinese communism survived and prospered because it adjusted to private initiative and market forces, and will soon overtake the United States economy by 2029. Remember that. This is Larry Henares, making your day, saying good day, God bless you. Thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, hasta la bye-bye.